plan.
We already
Hey,
talked
there
about
we go.
rules.
That's the deal.
Cold open.
Cold
Cold open.
open. Welcome to One Stop
Cold
Coop Shop.
open? What does cold open mean?
It's in TV shows and TV series, whenever it opens into the show and then they start playing the opening theme and video and all that.
We have a theme.
Yeah.
Co-op chat, woo woo, open cold.
And
Right?
now that just became the theme.
No, it did.
Wow, you were really quiet there. I'm sorry. I think I fixed your audio.
No, that's fantastic. I don't think we needed an opening theme.
Hey, Maurice. Nice to see you here. Hey, Snow. Welcome, welcome. So this is our live chat. We try to do this as much as we can weekly on this time. We talk about a different board game topic each week, generally the cooperative focus. So now this is a live chat. We do have a topic. Do we stay on topic? Maybe not so much.
Yes. Yes, we do.
So
all the time.
We have a topic, but honestly, we do have fun here, so it's good times. Topic this week was suggested by Marcel. Yes, that topic never exactly so. Our topic this week was suggested by Marcel on our Discord. It was talk about rules reading and rules preparation of it, and like how do you approach reading rules? Do you reread them? Do you have a moment where it's diminishing returns on reading rules? So that's what we're going to focus on today. So,
okay. For me, the first thing I do is watch a playthrough video.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, it's the first thing I do because rule books are tough for me. I don't learn. I learn by seeing and doing. I don't learn by. It always came up as a difficult thing in school because history class you have to read the material and then you're tested on it. But I would read, reread, and nothing would sink in. I wouldn't get it, and it translates to rule books because and it's what's been dubbed as being a visual learner. Right. So with rule books, it's if the rule book is this thick, automatically my brain's like, but as I start going through it, I find that I'm on basically page 1 to 5 for about an hour because I have a hard time ingesting it. So I look at a video, I see the mechanics of it, and then I go to the rule book.
How do you approach a preview when there might not be videos available?
Oh, it's hard. Usually I ask the dev. I ask the dev to walk through it with me.
Okay.
I'd probably say, like, for instance, I did a video for Greenbrier Games. It was a Kickstarter that didn't fund, but I remember it was a very cool idea.
Or something.
But I did a video with them and Julia Hearn, who's amazing. She knew my learning style, so she actually reached out to the dev, and the dev took me through one turn, and I understood the entire game. Like, so I can't. I don't know what it is. I mean, people, educators have said I'm lazy. It's not. But that's what they were like. Well, he's just lazy. He's smart. He can apply himself. And in my head, I'm like, is that what I am? But it wasn't. It was just I learned differently.
Yep,
and so
very true.
for board games, I watch a video, and it solidifies like base mechanics for me, and then I go to the rule book and I could breeze through the rule book. That's what I had to do with Zerevia, which spurned this topic. I forgot the guy's name. He's been making content for years, but I forgot his name. But he there was someone who made a video. I watched that, and then I went and I dug into the rule book and started doing my sticky notes. But watching that video helped me be able to engage with this rule book to understand what's going on. Otherwise, I'm drawing a blank.
Yep. I think Snow has a really good point here. So I think every single one of us has different learning ways. It was the same in school, which I completely agree. We all live differently, learn differently. To counter that, I struggle, and I think Snow mentioned this earlier too, where she can never learn from video or oral explanations. I struggle a little bit more on that front,
Okay.
like watching video playthrough. Like,
Mhm.
I'll get the gist of it, but like, it doesn't really sink in until I read it myself. Same thing with like narrative moments. If we're at a narrative moment in a campaign and somebody's reading the text in it, it doesn't really sink in all the way for me unless I'm reading along with them. So I'm a little bit different in that sense. Where, so for rule stuff before a game comes out, before I decide to buy a game, I very often will go read the rule book. I might not understand it fully because sometimes you need to see game components to really put that together. But I know Mike and I are like this, where we love reading rule books. I'll just pull up a rule book, start reading it because that's
Lord.
yeah. so I get that response a lot. So, I don't know. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting because I see how the mechanics work. But it just shows how different we are. Like I struggle a little bit more sometimes with watching a video playthrough.
Yeah.
But that like works really well for you. I mean, it's just whatever works for you.
Yeah,
right?
and it's not that I watch the video and I say, okay, because this is how you play the game. It just helps me to engage with the rule book.
Sure.
So, but if it's just this cold thing of, I'm gonna slap a rule book down in front of you, learn this game, I will not learn that game. So I don't know what it is about seeing the visuals that really help.
Yeah, Jonathan says here, I'm kind of the opposite. I need to touch the components, set it up, and have a general idea about the game before I can get anything substantial from a video. Which I agree with that. I think there's a lot of times, I struggle with this with our content, is how do you describe the generals of the game without wasting a whole lot of time on that? And be able to jump into the rules explanation, right? Because I think sometimes when you just jump into a review without knowing anything about the game, it's not meaningful.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The same thing with like playing a game, like, oh, here's a playthrough, like, well, what is the game about? Like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
And that's
hard.
Like
another perfect example of how I learned was Twilight Inscription, right? Stacy was amazing, and she got a copy for me at Gen Con last year, so I got it, and I sat down with that rule book, and it was like, don't read the rule book, start on this thing that skips 10 billion steps, and the whole time I'm like, I whatever. So I go on YouTube, I see that one person, because YouTube is this mad rush of you gotta be first thing. So I go on YouTube and watch one video of a setup. And I immediately was like, okay, and then I went to the rule book and I knew how to play the game.
Cool.
But without that video, it was, things weren't making sense. Like, it was, okay, well, then you should use set up these cards. Why? Okay. You should now pick 2 of these cards. Why? And it wouldn't say. It doesn't make sense. And then you get the rule books that aren't well written. So think about it from my perspective. It's I struggle with that, and then I get a rule book that's Ether Feels, right? Ether Feels V1's rule book, abysmal. So it's like, okay, so you want me to play your game, but your rule book is poorly written. So
I'll make a quick comment about that. That was interesting. And then I'll jump to you, Bairnt, on how you approach this. With Mike and I, we both like reading rule books, but how we understand the rules and how we communicate that out to others is very different. Like, Mike will explain, here's this mechanic, here's this other mechanic, here's this other mechanic, here's this other mechanic, and at the end he'll be like, okay, now this is what we're doing to win the game. And I'm very much the opposite. Like, here's the goal, here's a mechanic, here's why you want to do that mechanic to win the game, here's the other mechanic and why you want to do this to help you win the game, right? So I need a source point to know why I'm doing this stuff, why it's important, as opposed to here's all the mechanics. And it's just very interesting seeing that, like, despite the fact we both enjoy reading rule books, we still have
approach it differently.
We approach it very differently, right? It's very, very interesting. Not saying one way is right or wrong, we're just different.
It's just different.
Exactly. Bairnt, how do you approach rule books?
Well, the way I approach rule books is right. You guys are wrong.
Gotcha. as long as we knew.
That's right. See, the truth is sinking in. It's sinking in. I actually do a mixture of, I think, both you guys together, I think, is the deal here. Most of the time, So similar to you, Kenji, I grew up in a school system, and I was basically found early in my school career that I was learning disabled in the written English language. So I can't spell. I'm a very, very slow reader because it's just that's just how my brain works. So, and over the course of many, many years of working or being in school, with this learning disability, surprise, surprise, I graduated with a minor in English. Um, then I realized that, and that was basically because I kept taking English classes because I wanted to keep on trying to get through this. I found that in order for me to figure out what's going on in a book, I have to seclude myself. I always hear about all these people be like, "Oh, I'm going to go study downstairs." We're like, "Oh, but everybody's playing like foosball, listening to rock music." I'm like, how do you like? I'm the person that has to go to the library, lock himself in the like torture room, and just sit there and read in order for me to even get this stuff right. So when it comes to rule books, that's what I have to do, and I usually find a place in the house where nobody is, start reading it. I know I can only do about 10 pages. I have to get up, do something else, then come back, do another 10 pages. Okay, so then you look at the League of Dungeoneers 250-page rule book. That took a while. After I read the rule book, then I'm like you, Kanji. I go for a video. Then I look to see if there's something out there that can show it in action. And that usually helps again. And not only does it help me, it helps me solidify rules that I'd read, because sometimes you'll see them in action. And you'll be like, wait, is that how that works? And you go back and look like, oh, it is how that works. Okay, so that's how that works. Like you can see it in action. And then once I see it in action, then I'll try to record a video. And I think you guys know how I do things. No matter what game it is, no matter how I'm going to play this game, the first and second or up to 2 videos are always done video on demand, because that way I can videotape these. And like people said, when we originally were going to do live videos, I was telling Colin, why don't you try to do this live? He's like, how are we going to do this live? It's going to be like, okay, so I'm going to move my guy over there. Can I really move my guy over there? Let me go at the rule book. Yeah, okay, we can do that. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna move our guy over here. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm gonna attack. Can you attack? I don't know. It's like we're looking. No, so we're looking through. We're like, that is gonna be the most boring stream on the planet. People aren't gonna watch this play games, because that's how you're doing it when you're doing video on demand. It's all the behind the scenes things people don't know. A 1 hour video for me usually takes me about 3.5 to 3 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours, because you're doing something and all of a sudden you do it and you're like, is that really how that works? Crap, I gotta go check. So you're in the back reading. I've got, like, when I record, I've got my computer on one end of my table, all the rule books on the other hand of the table. Behind me is like the box of anything I might need. And as I'm going, I'll like look if it's up. Oh man, if those rule books are PDFs, oh, that's glorious. Shift F is my best friend when it comes to rule books. I tell you, man. And so I can figure out what I'm doing, and go in the rule book, figure it out, and then be able to continue these videos going forward. Now and then so I have to do those 2 videos like that, because not only have I read the rule book, I've watched something, which usually means I come back and skim the rule book one more time. That's how I do it. Then when I go to record, I've got everything sitting next to me, and I have to do those first video or 2 VODs. And I do like, I probably, oh my gosh, I think I do it similar to you, Steve, because I always start with what the game is and what it's all about. Then I actually go through, most of the time I go through the setup very almost step by step that's in the rule book, because that's what most people are looking at as they're reading the rule book, is how to set it up. So I usually go step by step through the rule book, how to set up the game. Then, of course, there's a timestamp, and we go to the first turn. And then usually that first and second turn take about half the video, because you're explaining everything that you can do on these turns, how that works, what it interacts, how you're reading them, you're explaining the rules to everybody. And then 3 through the end go pretty quick, and usually by the end, I have to admit, I might get a little lazy by that time, and I might get a couple things wrong by then, because maybe I didn't go back to the rule book just to make sure that I could cast a spell 6 squares instead of 5. So that's usually how I do things. So to sum it up, Bairnt reads it, watches the video, skims the thing, then records a video or 2 using the rule book in front of him so that he has it all set. Then if we decide to, then for example, Colin wants to play it live on Oathsworn or something, I've got a pretty good knowledge of how the game is played. We got one time, the only problem is we played Stars of Ikarios, and I did the first video, but that was it. And I hadn't had a chance to reskim the rules and stuff like this. So that was kind of a disaster. That one was, because I was like, oh, we can go like this. Can you do that? Yes, that'll be fine. We'll just do that. It'll be great. Because I think when you do get to live, if you don't know the rules as well as you should, we come to a term where we'll do it. And then because there are so many fantastic people in the community, a lot of times they're able to help you figure out if what you did was on the down low, or did you just cheat your way into victory circle?
That's what I've
how it
done
goes.
too. That's what I've done too with in terms of I've learned that I have to accept that I'm not going to give people perfect. So therefore I count on them that if I miss something that they'll say, "Hey, you missed that," and learn to be perfectly okay with that happening. And it's fine with me. I love it.
I think it's great. It helps you learn the game. I really think it does.
It does.
It does. It really does. And the comments help too afterwards. Where people are like, hey, on this timestamp you missed this thing. On this timestamp you missed that. I love that stuff because it helps me play better, and it helps inform people who are coming after to be like, hey, oh, this is, I got to remember to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I actually do put usually, if you listen to my videos, somewhere in the video, never know where it's going to be, ta-da, Bairnt says, hey, I'm gonna do it this way. If that's wrong, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, please check the pinned comment, because that's usually where I'll put like all the errors that I've done post launch, which helps a ton. And then usually I have like a list of the different things that people have helped find, or else I have found while I was editing, or actually put it out after I edited. That's my favorite. Is like I'll put a subtitle in there, and then I keep watching, and post it, and I'm like, oh crap, wait a minute, is that how it's supposed to? Well, it's live. I guess I'll just put a comment.
So I've got a question for both of y'all then. A comment, then a question. My comment is, Bairnt, that's how I had to do stuff at school as well, was seclude myself in the library in the quiet room to learn to do stuff. But its effect for me was I learned how to pass a test. I never retained the information after. Like physics, I learned physics to pass the test.
I never learned physics.
I learned differential equations to pass the test. There was nothing else that it did for me, because it was you need to read the book. When I read the book, it doesn't stick, is basically what I'm saying.
That's fair.
The question I have for y'all is, at what point, so you're taking your time, you're spending, going through 10 pages, taking a break, you're going to do something else, you're coming back to it to read the rule book, and you're looking at the rule book, trying to, absorbing all of it. At what point for the two of you is the margin of diminishing returns where you're like, this game is no longer appealing to me via the rule book? Or like, or let me ask it this way. Have you ever gotten to a point where the rule book turned you off from the game?
I'd say
no.
I don't think that has ever happened.
No.
I would say that the game might, but not the rule.
Yes.
Not necessarily the rule book itself. Well, sorry, unless the rule book's poorly written.
That's where I'm kind of going with it. Yeah. It's like the rule book's poorly written, so you're like, I'm not going to. I can't. It's not, ooh, I hate this, or ooh, I don't like that type of stuff. It's more, it's the juice is not worth the squeeze continuing through this rule book because it's so poorly written that the game doesn't get a shot. Have y'all ever hit that point?
I think the only time that's happened is when I'm working on a preview. And so at that point, I reach out to the dev or designer and be like, hey, I'm struggling. Can you help me with this point?
Okay.
And then that gets me over that hump.
Okay.
But I don't think from a finished product perspective, I've experienced that.
Okay. All right.
Yep, I'm the same. I would say it's only during it's only during previews, and usually it's because I get a textbook, I don't get the rule book, and I've read it. I'm done with textbooks. I graduated. I don't do textbooks anymore, right? And so, like, when you get somebody says like, "Oh, here's the rule system," and it's like an 8-page PDF document, all words. I'm like, oh, really? I stopped reading after college for a reason. I need pictures and things like this, right? So
Get a lot of those for previews.
I need pictures. I need happy people in the margins. I need funny things behind it. I need things to distract me from just looking at a white page with words on it. So that I think is where it hurts a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the rule book will never turn you off from giving a game a shot, which is great. So it would never turn you off from giving a game a shot. It's just after you've absorbed the rule book and then played the game, you're like, okay, or meh.
Yeah.
That hits. But you'll always give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yep. My wife
So-
has done more than enough, heard me stomping around the house going like, this rule book is out of control. She's like, well, just don't do it. No, I've got to do it. I'm gonna do this game, but this sucks. And she's like, oh, okay. I mean, like I said, League of Dungeoneers, 250 pages. Oh my gosh, that took a week to read, but I did it because I wanted to play the game. And once I played the game, I was happy I read the rule book. I mean, but there have been games where I read the rule book, start playing the game, and go, nope, this game's garbage. Not gonna do it. And it's not that it may. Let me try this again so that I don't get attacked everywhere in the world. The game probably wasn't garbage. I just wasn't a game for me.
Okay.
And so that's where it hits. And a lot of times I might be able to tell that reading the rule book, getting about halfway through, going like, what? And then I'll maybe stop and watch a video and be like, yeah, no, this game, no, I'm not going to like this game at all. Boo this game.
Right. What you do very well with it, Bairnt, though, is that you'll preview it, you'll let it stand on its own and not give your opinion of it, and then you'll call it or move on to something else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quite easily.
I'll move on to something else. I think a lot of it, I mean, there's a lot of games I really love that I'd love to get back to that I haven't. I mean, like, for example, I have done no Arkham Horror, the card game, really, except for like a one-off scenario. And I love that game. I've done only one thing for Arkham 3rd Edition, and that game's fantastic. But I haven't gotten back to it just because there's always something else.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got other games where you're like, okay, that was great. I did the 3rd video. That was awesome. It's just not living up to my dreams. So we're probably not going to do any more videos on that and move on to something else. Like there's a game right up here that is still in my collection that I probably couldn't give this away because it just isn't that great. That's the new Descent.
Yeah. I got rid of that.
The thing is, though, that's the thing is I like to make sure I give a game the best shot I possibly can if it's going to be at least in my genre or in my theme that I think I would really enjoy. You know what I mean?
When you say you give it the best shot it can, elaborate. Go say more. Say more about what
I want to explore all the things that the designer at least was attempting to do within the first parts of the game.
Okay.
Sometimes playing a tutorial scenario, you're kind of like, oh, okay, that's the game. No, it's usually not. I mean, you have to usually get to like, I would say like kind of like when, I mean, not to bring you and put you on the spot or anything, for how long you stuck with Oathsworn. Similar to something like that. Like I'm really supposed to be enjoying this game. I kind of gotten to the point where I've kind of experienced what they're going with, but it's just not something for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's where I got with Descent. I think we made it through probably the first whole like 3 or 4 missions even. And we saw the different ways of building the trains and doing all the cool things. And finally Colin and I looked at each other and goes, not having fun, man. Are you? He's like, just not. No. I'm like, okay, let's not do this game. We'll be done because we see what they're doing. We understand there's this story behind it. Neat, just not kicking with us. But then you've got other games like Myth and was it the Forbidden Fortress where I can pull those out anytime and play them, but they don't have that connecting theme. It's just I enjoy playing the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've seen what all that does, and I don't mind being able to pull those out and play them whenever I want.
And
because they have.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
Yeah.
And that's a good point you're making in terms of saying if you're going to decide a game is not for you, don't just play it once and say the game's not for you.
Correct.
I mean, that may kick that vibe of being like, I'm not really feeling this one, but at least give it, put it through its paces. Give it like, for me, I think the magic number for me is 5. I do 5 playthroughs, and then after the 5th one, I'm like, that's to let me know what I like and not. With Oathsworn, I went all the way to 8, and was like, okay, I've seen how the flow is, and it's not working. So I get it.
I think it's also important to be willing to allow yourself to change too. Like I find it a lot. It's very easy to play through it and have a bad experience and kind of hold on to that. Like it's not. You shouldn't invalidate your experiences,
Mm-hmm.
but you shouldn't necessarily say, okay, it's only gonna be a bad game from now on because my first play was bad, right? Allow yourself to, maybe there was a random situation that made it bad. Because I've had some really fun games that has foiled on me for various reasons, and the other way around as well. So it's
how somebody teaches you a game really
does.
really impacts if you like a game or not.
I do want to jump back to Bairnt's comments about VOD and live, because I think that is one thing that kind of people don't really know about. Like, so VOD is recorded videos. VOD stands for video on demand. So yeah, for that one, when I do VODs, I have the rulebook next to me, and I do something similar to you, Bairnt. But for live, I do very differently in the sense that, so if I'm just gonna learn a game personally, I will normally read the rulebook before buying it. Maybe not understand everything, just get a idea of it, and then when I get it, I'll read the rulebook cover to cover, and then I normally take a break and do cover to cover again, and then I'll pause and I'll look at components and try to figure out some of the details that may not have said it. So I might do some example plays, example turns just on my own, and then if I need to reread it again, I'll read it again. So I do that enough. So that's what I do personally. And then for live plays, I will keep iterating on that until I feel like I can play the game without touching the rulebook. That is my gold standard for like, okay, I'm ready to stream this game. It doesn't mean that I'm against touching rulebook in a live play. It's just my goal, because I want to make sure I keep the pacing going and keep it moving. Plus, if people have comments or questions, I want to be able to respond to them immediately with an answer. Not always possible.
I got that rulebook right here with me.
yes.
And I'm like, hold on, like Bairnt was saying, where it's like, okay, I need to pause. Hold on.
Yep. Now I got a question for you, Steve. Were you ever on the Great Space Coaster?
No, what's this?
No, because being able to read a rule book like 3 or 4 times, you must be speed reader, man. I can't read
that. Is an old reference. You just aged yourself, my friend.
Everybody knows I'm an ancient old man over here. That's
the thing is, I got it. I understood your reference.
Oh my gosh. So you're like, I read the rule book from cover to cover. Then I read it again. Then I walk away. And then I read it again, touching the components. And then the last time I read it while I'm in bed. And then I wake up and I read it. And it's like, really? I'm lucky if I get through one and read it in 2 days.
I mean, it was funny because even this morning I woke up and just I sat down in I call it my reading room area, just a quiet area where I grabbed a rule book and started reading it, the Midhala one, because I wanted to play it, so I started reading that one. So yeah, that's, I don't know.
Don't worry,
I woke up, walked downstairs, ate Raisin Bran, and joined a stream. There's no reading anywhere.
Yeah, I've got a sickness. It's weird. It's funny because like if you see me at a convention, like if you sit down and play a game with you, and then maybe it's a new game, like everyone's ripping open and everyone's grabbing components. I'm like, hey, I'll take the rulebook.
He does do that. He does do that. I brought. It was when I brought Dice Hospital over.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so we took the shrink wrap off. He's like, hey, can I have the rulebook? Here you go, my friend.
Yep.
But you absorbed it pretty quickly. You were like, you absorbed that rule book pretty quickly, and you're like, okay, we're ready to play.
Doesn't always go well. Like put that way.
I think a lot of it, when it comes to rule books, believe it or not, for the amount of rule books we read, I think Steve might get this going, might understand how this works. Kanji might understand how this works, and I'm sure Mike is like the master of this. When you pick up a game, you start reading the synopsis of what the game's plan is, how it's going to go. I think once you start reading some of these rule books, there's almost an expectation as what you expect as you're going through this.
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm gonna start, and almost you can kind of skim through some of it because you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be working just like these other 8 games with a similar theme.
Yeah.
Okay, I can just kind of go through that, and of course, until you find like the one oddball rule, you're like, oh, okay, they're gonna try to change things up with this little action here. Okay, that one out right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like I might have played a dungeon crawler or two. So a lot of the times when it comes to those type of games, I have a pretty good plan as to how this is going to happen, how things are going to go forward. Now, of course, when it comes to Awakened Realms, you have to read those rule books because you never know. They are always trying to like break the mold on a lot of that kind of stuff. So you gotta go watch out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It can get interesting too when trying to read in those environments because I remember it was at Gen Con and it was the year that Reckoners came out.
Okay.
So fun game, like game. Probably overproduced, but that's besides the point, I guess. But fun game. And so I got the rule book, and I am speed reading this like no other as much as I can because there's like 5 of us wanting to play this game, and I may have Steve the game. So
there's no may in that.
No, there's no may in that.
You Steve the game.
So in other words, I made
You made it harder.
I made it harder, and in this case, not knowingly because I was reading the game, and I got so much crap for that. The rest of the weekend, it was hilarious.
Yeah, the tough part of teaching a game is if you get a rule wrong and someone is a rule fanatic, it's so annoying because it's like, I get that you want to get things perfect. It's gonna be okay. I promise it's gonna be okay. But if you don't, then they latch on to the thing you got wrong, and they just kind of, and so it just gets annoying.
I think it ties into YouTube comments a lot, right? Where you will always hear, "Here's a rules correction. Here's the thing you missed. Here's the thing you missed. Here's the thing you missed." Right? You don't hear about, "Hey, I like your playthrough. That was a good job." Blah blah blah. But it's there.
Yeah,
it's just not being stated.
Yeah,
right?
That's the old adage, and there's actually a psychological term for it. But what they call it is in layman's what they call it is just kind of you recognize the D on the report card and not the other A's.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you could get straight A's on a report card and you get a C, and you will you will look at the C and not the A's at all.
That's right.
And I forgot what the term is that they call it, but there's actually a term for it where
it's called failure, Kanji.
What?
It's called failure. No, I'm kidding.
Story of my life, Bairnt. Just you see, look me up in the dictionary. Failure. Picture me on there.
I know that guy.
I know that guy. Yep, that's about right. Yeah, but there is some I forgot what it's called, but it is a thing where people always and it's not that they are doing it intentionally or with malice or with negativity, but one, people have a hard time accepting a compliment, and two, people have it's called high context or low, oh my god, I'll get into this stuff if y'all don't want to, but it'll cause high context communication and low context communication. So if it's high context communication, that means that I infer a lot, or you should infer a lot by what I say. Mm-hmm. So if it's low context communication, you have to be explicit in the things that you say, and people operate on these different levels, right? Mm-hmm. So like a high context communicator for something simple, this is something simple, but it has happened in my life, but I'm a high context communicator, so if I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting up to turn, I'm going to turn the light off. Mm-hmm. A low context communicator would say, why? It's like, because I want the freaking light off. You know, because it's inferred. Sure. As a high context, I'm inferring, I'm doing this thing, and it should be inferred why I'm doing it. And if you're with a low context person, is they want to understand why. They want to understand why thing, you know. You'll hear a lot of things like, well, why? Well, what is that for? Well, why is that thing? Because they need detail.
Mm-hmm.
What if
And
you just don't like talk? You just get up and do stuff,
high
and then people
context.
wonder why you do that.
High context. Yeah,
Oh, that's what
because
I
it's
am. Because that's a lot
inferred.
of times at work, but people are kind of like, "Where did Bairnt go?" Well, Bairnt probably went to go do something needs to do. But he didn't tell anybody he's going to go do it. And I'm like, "Yep, that's usually what happens."
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to go do this. I don't need to tell everybody where I'm going to do it. I'm going to go do it.
So in the comments section, it's always the comments come across as high context stuff because
Yes.
it's more I'm just telling you these things, but it's inferred that I watched your video and therefore I enjoyed it.
Exactly. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
Every time. If you're commenting on a video, that means you are. I'm doing something right.
Pickle.
Ryan!
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh, people in relationships that have that high low thing, y'all fight all the time, and it's because of that. It's like you don't give me enough detail, and you actually find that that detail oriented people have a very hard time for people who have high context because they're saying, I don't infer anything. Tell me straight as it is. And if you don't do that, you're being vague and annoying.
No God.
Yeah, there's a whole thing on it, but it's really great stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm totally derailed.
Oh, sorry.
Fine, fine,
That wasn't derailment. That was magic moments. We talking magic moments. How they work. How it works.
Oh, Snow.
Is that why? No. Is that why? You take out vague, just call them annoying. You'll find there's even breakdowns of subs of that stuff. There's what's called a DISC assessment, and DISC assessment says that either, and they call it DISC because it's D, I, S, and C. D are driven people. So the example of that is there's a brick wall. You have to get through that brick wall. A D will power through that brick wall. It doesn't care who the rocks hit. I need to get on the other side of that brick wall. I don't have time for this nonsense, so I'm gonna slam through that wall. And I is, hey, what do you think? How do you think we should get through that brick wall? Let's talk about it. Let's collaborate. Let's see how we're gonna move through this wall. And S is kind of the, okay, you okay to get over? You all right? All right, I'll go, and then I'll drop a ladder and a rope, and then a C as well. What's that brick wall made of? Is it stone? Is it carbon fiber? I need more data on that brick wall before I can find my way on the other side of it. So you mix
I just activate my mutant power and phase through it like Kitty Pryde.
The
way to do it, man.
So you find that people are two. They're two.
Yes.
They're one very high and one very low, and then on top of that, the high context, low context comes in and how they communicate, and that's what the context is based on your DISC assessment. It'll determine your DISC score. It'll determine then it's how do you communicate, and that'll determine high low. C's have low context.
Wow.
Detail.
And I thought taking the Harry Potter quiz was going to be tough.
Sorry.
I took that quiz.
I bet there's like a quiz out there you can take to figure out which one you are.
You are, yeah. I used to take it again. I remember I was like I and S. I don't remember which one was higher for me though.
I'm an IS because I's are extroverts, so they're just 100% extroverts, and that's me.
Oh really?
I have no idea what I am.
I'm not an extrovert. I think my S
you're probably you're an SC.
SC?
Or an SC socially, a CS at work.
Okay.
Yeah. I now, because I understand how it works, I can tell what people are from that stuff.
Do I dare ask you what I am?
Bairnt is an IC. He is.
Oh yeah.
He's very social. Like in terms of, but he's also very detailed. This is why he'll spend that time, go through that rule book, struggle through it to get the detail down, and then do that stuff. So he's an IC.
I'm glad I'm interested in detail because that's something I need to do for nursing too.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we'll just give him that drug. It'll be fine. Well, let's do. Oh, it don't matter.
Yeah, I'm an extrovert. I could go up to a stranger and talk to them. That's just me.
I'm the type of person to be more than happy to follow this guy so I can go talk to them. I struggle more with that.
Yeah, I could do that, but it poses problems in this community because this community is filled with a lot of introverts.
Yeah.
And introverts are varying
Yeah.
along the scale. And so
Yeah.
if you run into an introvert who can't handle an extrovert, it gets interesting because it's like, hey, my name is Derrick. How you doing? Nice to meet you. What type of games do you like? What is this your first Gen Con? Whereas someone who's a huge introvert's like,
It's funny because for how outgoing and everything Colin is, he's very much an introvert. Believe it or not.
Cynthia's you're an SC.
There you
Snow says,
go.
honestly, if I met any of the OSC one-stop co-op shop people, I'd struggle to even go to them and say hi. You better stop by and say hi, Snow, if you're ever in the area.
I will drag you in.
Yes, we will pull you up.
So that's the thing. I will extroverts latch on to people and pull them in. So I will do that.
So
And he's gonna have this mountain of people coming from behind him, all like kind of walking behind.
I am their king.
There you go. He's gonna bring the masses.
Yes,
royalty.
But yeah, it's I think it's just amazing.
And that's one thing that like I am definitely an introvert, right? But I've been working on like trying to it's something I actively have to step out my shell, like to go walk up to people and do that stuff. It's not as difficult for me as it was in the past, but it's still definitely there. And if I left to my own devices, not knowing better, I'll just sit in the corner and just be happy.
I gotta meet people. Me being by myself is never a good thing.
This is what
my brain does dumb stuff when I'm by myself. Like what I posted in the chat where I was like, hey, like I'm sitting by myself. I got out of a meeting. I had a 30-minute break, and it wasn't, I could read this or get this email or do this. So I sat there and I was like, it came from the future.
I remember that comment.
and Arthur C. Clarke says that anything futuristic enough is indistinguishable from magic. Then why doesn't somebody else from the further future come back and beat Kang and say, oh yeah, he sucks?
Yeah.
I'm stupid. I'm sorry. But my brain does dumb stuff like that so to not do that, I go talk to people.
But I lost my train of thought again. I'm just this is not my train of thought day. I was gonna talk about introvert tendencies.
Train of thought day. You have those?
I don't.
My brain's not working today. That's what it comes down to. Oh yeah, that's right. The board game hobby as a whole, because I found this a very easy way to become more extroverted through the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can sit down in front of a table.
Oh,
with
because
a game.
of like-minded.
Like-minded, but it's more of a shared experience.
Goal.
I can sit down and have a shared experience with you at a table very easily, and I can easily relate to you that way.
But it's more y'all have to have a common connection point.
Yes.
My thing is, if you sit down at a table with someone who is not a board gamer, how's that communication socially going to happen?
I can manage. It's struggles. It's a struggle. So that's why this is easier for me.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, because it's a connection point.
Connection point. Like to me, sometimes the game doesn't even matter,
and that's why you play co-op games.
That's why I play co-op games.
Because competitive games you don't talk.
Right. No, you don't. You don't talk at all. The only co-op game you don't talk during is The Crew. That one you don't talk during.
Yes, that's true.
I've never played that.
You gotta concentrate. You got to work hard. Steve still can't deal with that. That was the most.
You are amazing at the game, Bairnt. I couldn't get over that.
He's never seen me where I was like super focused, like not a smile on my face. Like I was like zoned in on this thing. And at the end, he's like, did you go somewhere? What do you mean? It's like,
what happened to Bairnt?
Like all of a sudden, this different persona came in. It's like, we're going to win this game.
Bairnt, are you competitive type?
Oh, yeah. That's why I don't play competitive games.
Okay. Are you like hardcore?
I will smash my kid at Uno and gloat.
Okay, so you're a hardcore competitive. Yeah. Ooh, I want to play a game with you.
Yeah.
No, because a lot of times I don't do well. I'm horrible at them.
And that's why I saw with the Crew, because his skill level at trick the game is quite high.
Okay.
Especially compared to me. And I saw that like switch, like I'm gonna win this at all costs. And he's like, I'm gonna take these missions, and I got this. I'm like, I'm sure I got this. I'm like,
But he
okay.
does that no matter what. He always has a plan. Like, when we played Rogue Angels, his first thing was, guys, I got a plan.
I got a plan. I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. Okay, I'm gonna roll. I got no feet. Okay.
Is
Well,
it like 27% of plan?
change of plans. Change of plans.
Oh man, that's great.
But yeah, we're totally on topic. It's fine.
Fine.
Yeah, the rulebook thing is a tough one. Like, and how do we all learn differently? And I think, tying this back a little bit to the comments about folks, about people posting rules corrections all the time on YouTube videos.
Which is great.
It helps us a lot, honestly, because we try our best to be as accurate as possible. But we're human, we make mistakes.
Well,
Yes.
we're not Bairnt, so we make mistakes.
Not Bairnt.
We're not royalty, but we make mistakes.
Yeah.
But it helps, and like if people are using, that's the one thing I learned about playthrough videos. Like people use these videos to learn how to play games. I've heard a lot just between you guys and other people on chat brought up too. So like having that be accurate, I understand why that is so important. Like,
Yes.
from that standpoint.
Yeah. If it's recorded, I think one of the sticklers for me is that if you're doing VOD, it better be accurate.
Yeah.
Because you're doing VOD.
Yeah.
It's like you could put a subtitle saying, "Hey, I missed this thing," or you can edit it.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're
Like
live,
for example, don't watch my ISO Fairing Guard new video because there's like when the very beginning of the video, I go, okay, so we have 38 Lux. We're going to power our guys up. I asked the community what I should do. And a lot of people think I should go get, was it Flank, which was like, what's his name's top, like into this. And so I paid 30 experience points to get to Flank from the very bottom of his board, not realizing that the 2-star ones are 25 experience points.
Oh,
60 experience points to get that. I paid 38 for it, or 30 points to get there. So the best part is this is a 2-hour video. About an hour and 30 into it, I finally realized, oh crap. So there was like this big disclaimer at the beginning. And then it's just like, I will correct this not till 1 hour and 40 minutes. So, like you said, as long as it's right or there's a something explaining what you did wrong, then that's huge. Now, I did do Vampire the Masquerade chapters, and I'm still doing it. The problem is sometimes now we're getting to the ideas of when rules are not well written or how to go about that, and what do you do in a video situation in that aspect. In this aspect, when it comes to those type of things, I go to Board Game Geek. I look for, hopefully a designer has answered a question about this. Though a lot of this, in this particular situation, there wasn't much out there for me to go with. So in the video itself, I actually explained. So here's, you can do each of these prologues at the end of each prologue, you get 1 experience point. And then I said, but it doesn't really mention exactly how you can do this. Do you get all 8 experience points before you start the first chapter for doing all the prologues, or do you only get them for the prologues? You do. If you don't do any of the prologues, you even get any experience points to start this. And it's not really explained in the rule book. And then finally, somewhere down the line, it was eventually explained, you get 8 experience points. I'm like, okay, that kind of thing. So like, but sadly, that wasn't explained in the rule. So I had to actually say in the video, it's not clear kind of thing.
And that was going to be my question. That was going to be my question for y'all next is, what happens when the rule book is not well written and becomes ambiguous to where, okay, you're saying I'm going to give this game a shot, and you go to BGG or you search the internet and nothing is there on it. There's no kickback. So if none of that is there and the rule book is not well written, do you are you saying like, okay, well, I'll just house rule it and deal with the fallout?
I always just say, I'm not exactly sure how this works, but here are the frameworks of what is going on at this particular point. Please leave in the comment section how you think you would resolve this, or what do you think, or if you know how this is resolved, please let me know.
But you have to, that's if you hit the end of the video. If you are in the video, in the middle of
right where it happens, I'll say that.
That's what I do too.
But do you say, okay, we were done with this preview, or do you house rule and then move on?
No.
What I do-
I'll, like, for example, say it has to do with movement, but it doesn't explain how if you can get over a barrel or if barrels block your movement. I'll say, okay, so now I'm going to move 3 spaces. I'll go 1, 2, and I might get to that barrel. And I'll say at that moment in the video of that exact moment of the video, I'll be like, now, sadly, the rule book, I couldn't really understand whether or not you can move over barrels or not.
Yes.
So for this right now, I'm going to move over the barrel.
Okay.
If that's wrong, please let me know in the comments below. If you find anything, I would love to know.
That's
and then
what I was looking for.
Move on to the barrel. And if I'm wrong,
okay,
it wasn't explained. I had no idea. No, I don't do them at the end where it's like, so thanks for watching the playthrough. By the way, at 1 hour and 10 minutes, I wasn't sure whether or not
it was just more curious
I
as
didn't
to.
know it wasn't the rule. But no, I'll
Yeah,
actually
it's just more curious as to how y'all deal with that. But that's a good way. That's a really good way to deal.
That's what I do too.
Okay.
And then if I have the time, or I can reach out to the designer between that, and maybe it's a series, all in the next video be like, oh, by the way, that moment in the video, this is the correct ruling.
Right.
So
or on a recording, you just add in your
put a little
your update
blurb someplace. But yeah, I do the same thing. Okay,
Yeah,
not really
the funny
sure.
thing
I'm gonna make this
was-
call, maybe right or wrong, just so everyone knows. Because
And the best part was for that vampire one, that exact thing about having the 8 experience points. Somebody did ask the designer a question, Board Game Geek. It says, like, I'm kind of unclear. Do you get all 8 experience points? Should you only get the ones for the ones you do? Or how's that work? Oh yeah, that's fun. Have good time at the game. It's like, that did not answer the question at all, man. The next comment was like, was that an answer? Like, he posed it 3 different ways. He goes, oh yeah, that's exactly how you should. That'd be great. Have fun. It's like, again, nope, that didn't answer anything. Oh, it was too good. Too good.
Hey Jen.
hey Jen,
So for y'all to know, I'm gonna distract us for a second.
Okay.
Jen is celebrating her 1 year of being a content creator Sunday. So she's been she does streaming over on Twitch. And this is going to be her 1 year celebration of becoming a content creator. But she's been in the community for a while and loved it. But now she's 1 year as a content creator. So
that's awesome.
Congratulations! Congratulations, Jen.
Yeah, I definitely went on her channel and subbed and all that stuff. So
yeah. She's amazing. She's fun. I know she was at Origins. She went to Origins, but she's gonna be at Gen Con. So we're all gonna. I'm gonna drag her over to hang out with us.
Sweet. I'm excited to meet you, Jen. So it's a lot of work behind the scenes. I'm gonna tell you all the things that goes on. So
it is.
Yeah,
cool.
case in point, watch any of my streams, and you'll find out how horrible it is. Every time it's like, oh my gosh, did you see the last time we tried to start one of their streams? Oh my gosh, we were amazing. We're absolutely amazing. So here we are, ready to stream. I've had it all set up for like an hour, ready to go. Colin sits down, we're all set, and I'm like, okay, here we go, bonk, we start. And I realized, Colin and I are on the wrong side of each other. That's fantastic. So like in the stream, you see me like physically move over to their side, over here. And then all of a sudden, now whenever we talk to each other, I'm over here, and he's like, so how's it going over there? Oh, it's fine. Like, but I have to reverse both of us, and I couldn't figure out if it was like horizontal or vertical. So all of a sudden, Colin's upside down, he comes back up. There's this bad news.
Yeah, live
like,
streaming.
oh my gosh,
here's
professionalism right here.
It's always something.
Live streaming's fun. Always something goes wrong. It's just how quick you can adjust to it.
There is just everyone knows there's a button you can push on this tool you use where I can then move around the environment without you knowing about it. I do that a lot to fix things behind the scenes. If there's times where I am, as you like to say, buffering, these jets are trying to fix them behind the scenes.
Yes. We were doing that. Yes.
Yes, Jen's got it. Streaming. Anything that can go wrong will before, during, and after the stream.
Yep,
very true.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
Or when you forget to unmute your guest, that's my favorite too.
I've unmuted.
I've
I've muted myself, so I've come in. I've hit the stream deck button, but it doesn't undo, like it doesn't trigger. So I'm talking, and it isn't until I'm about 3 minutes in and I see that message muted.
Yes.
I just waited 3 minutes. I just wasted 3 minutes of your life. So let me start over.
That's right.
I felt so bad. This was a private stream I did for someone. That sounds really wrong. Though. Say out loud.
Was there a poll included?
No. Let me provide some context. So I was
Sorry, there was an inside joke before we started.
We talked about it before.
Okay.
No, I was playtesting a game for a upcoming game that's coming out, and so like, oh sure, I can play this game, and I'll record my placements. It's on Tabletop Simulator.
Okay.
I had someone else join me at the last minute, and so I was like, oh yeah, he'll join me. I'll record this, no big deal, it'll be easy to do. And I had everything set up, I was recording, and I realized his audio wasn't coming in, so I went to change some settings, and I forgot to change the scene back, and so I recorded over an hour and like a half of me playtesting this game with no visual. Only audio. And I felt so bad.
Oh my god.
Wow.
It was only private ones for the designer, so he can get some feedback. And
Yeah.
he was able to get stuff out of it, but I felt so bad about that. So like,
And you sent him the video.
I mean, that's what I had, right?
You win, Steve. Congratulations. You win for worst work.
I felt
Good
so
luck.
bad about it.
Oh no! Yeah. Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh my gosh, that was insane.
Oh yeah.
So
and
yes,
the new
there's
thing
always
happens all
fun
the
things
time.
that happen behind the scenes. That's
Yeah.
great.
Always
Or when
something.
you do a video on demand and you hit the record button, but you didn't hit the record button, and then like when you're finally editing the video, you're like, "Where's that part?" Oh,
Yep.
and then you just have to put a subtitle that says, "Lost the footage for my level up."
Yeah.
Oh, always something. Anyway, okay, we had fun with this chat. I think we kind of ran one down. So next,
Yeah, because you guys have something you're working on over there.
lots of things to work on. So this is Game of Palooza. Derrick is here physically in house. So we did stream yesterday.
Yes, I really do need all these board games.
Yes, you do. But yeah, yesterday we streamed custom content for Marvel United. Sorry, United. The custom content was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is awesome. It was a great content. We loved it. Had a blast.
That was
playing
fun. That was fun.
it. But yes, we're going to continue with the United content about half hour after the stream ends to do the big finale, the end game, Thanos campaign. So this is going to wrap up the campaign we've been playing. Yeah, just one. Yeah, the whole campaign we've been playing.
Here we can be matching buddies now.
Oh my god, you got the same shit!
I
Now we're
particularly like
matching buddies.
I guess
I can never wear this stream on. I can never wear this shirt on stream though. See, look, it's a green screen.
Oh, it's a
It
green shirt.
Yeah, that's why. Like all of a sudden, you can't see me.
You have to wear it during. I'm bringing this shirt's coming to Gen Con. This is its premiere, so it's coming to Gen
Now
Con.
I
So you
can
gotta
watch
bring
it.
it. You gotta bring it.
The more I move around, see now, so I disappear. See, look at that. That's amazing. See, I'm like floating head guy. Woo! Sorry.
We're any of these old time my husband's home nice, Jen. But yes. Yeah, so we're doing that campaign a little bit today, and then we'll probably stream something else later as well.
Yep.
I haven't quite worked out the details.
We've got a lot of games to play.
Yep.
Midala, no.
Mid-Hollow will play too, but we probably won't stream that one.
Okay.
Because he wants the content later this year.
Okay, so he'll hold off on that.
Yeah,
But I brought games.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we got some stuff.
Content-wise, so next week, let's see, I'm finished up the Valen Vilni content. So we're gonna start a new series. Probably gonna be doing Deep Rock.
Okay.
Probably play that a few times on Mondays, and then Wednesday I'm gonna do something brand new. I used to do it for co-op chats, but I'm gonna pull it into Wednesday segment, and I'm gonna keep it short. It's probably gonna be only like 15 minutes max. I'm aiming for,
Right.
and I'll cover cooperative news there. So it's not gonna be every week. It's probably every other week, and I'm gonna talk about, because there's a lot of games I play off stream and just on my own, just to understand and do my own research, read rule books, for example. And this is a good opportunity for me to share my thoughts about them at that time with you guys. So hopefully it's useful. But that's coming up Wednesday. And I think that's basically it. Oh, I'm really, really quiet.
Why?
Again?
Yeah. Really quiet. There we go. Hey, buddy. So that's what's coming up next week. What do you got coming up?
On the spot.
No, I'm trying to think because the month of Roll and Write and Print and Play ends. Okay, so tomorrow I'll be closing out the month of roll and write, print and play by playing a massive game of cartographers, which means come to cartographers. I've put a link in the description so you can print out the map, and I will take care of everything else.
That was fun. I do recommend you joining. It's really easy to participate.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so closing it out with that. Then also Sunday, that same day, right after that at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm actually going to be on Gaming Rules with Paul Grogan.
Woo!
So they're having a celebration for a Patreon stretch goal that he hit, and he's having like this quiz show, and I'm part of that where I'll be asked questions on a quiz show about board games. So he is the pro. He understands that stuff. So I'll be on there at 3. Then Tuesday it's back to Isofarian Guard.
Yeah.
Thursday I don't know. Saturday co-op chat, and then Sunday something else.
Cool.
Oh, Arkham Horror. Scarlet Keys. We're back to Scarlet Keys.
What you got, Bairnt?
Not as much as you guys. Not even close.
So everything.
ISO Fairing Guards recorded. It's going through its last edits. Been doing that for 3 days. And then I recorded Vampire chapters. I still have Stalker. I haven't really even looked at yet, which is super sad. So here's the deal. July is always my hardest month to do anything because it's usually the month that I do a lot of stuff with my families.
Yep.
So last year I even took all of July off and just said, not doing anything. And that might be very similar to this. If I had not gotten Vampires chapters, I probably would have gone, took all of July off. But instead, I'm going to do Vampire chapters, get that up and running. And then I might go, done. We'll see. And by the way, that's what I do whenever I'm done. Done. So, though I will say I will always be doing the live stuff with Colin every Monday when we can. And I'll try to do a painting episode every week. That's usually my goal. But other than when it comes to VOD content, like I don't have a lot of time to record because my kids are out of school now. So we're doing a lot of stuff. Like they stay up later. We do more stuff together. So I don't have as much free time to record as I normally do. So we'll see what I can get done in July. But usually when I get back from Gen Con, then I'm usually like pumped up and ready to try some new stuff and do things and all that. So that's usually by August I'm back up and running again. But July is usually my settle down.
Kind of decompress. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got, like I said, Vampire and Ice Fairing Guards already recorded. We'll see. Actually, I think I'll probably be breaking my rules because I think Rogue Angels is coming very, very soon.
We got it yesterday.
Am I like the last human on Earth to get this game?
He got it, and Emil sent my copy through him, so I'm here, so I picked it up.
Yep. It should be there.
Is my copy there?
No.
Sure, come pick it up.
And then I arrive there, and I'm like, "Where's my copy? You guys don't have it." And I like get really upset. That'd be amazing.
I'll calm you down by being like, "Hey, let's play this board game called Myth."
Yeah, there you go. I can show you that. I got it all right here. I got like everything. It's all right there. So that's that. Actually, it's all this all here. These are all the tuck boxes. This tuck box. That's all Myth right there.
Wow.
All those little satchel things, super satchels or super stackers. Sorry. So yeah, that's and then of course Kingdom Death in Theory is coming very soon. So we'll see. I might not get my decompression that I want, but so the priorities are if Rogue Angels does come in, I'll probably be doing that. I might even stop one of our Oathsworn games to have Colin play it live with me. That would be kind of fun.
Really curious what he thinks of it. If he likes it as much as we did.
Take care of yourself, dude. If you need to take July, they can wait. It'll be there after July, and you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, I know. Sometimes I just get too excited for what comes in, though.
Yeah, I get it.
It's very easy to get burned out. Content.
Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, have we talked about burnout in the chat in this thing before?
I don't think we have. That might be a good topic.
Burnout.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. It was a game I played a long time ago back on I played it back on the Xbox. I had Burnout and Burnout 2 and Burnout 3. Those are pretty good games.
Burnout W. Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah. It was good stuff. So that was my long story about how I'm doing 2 more videos and then my live stuff. And then unless I get Rogue Angels, I'll do 3 videos. So And I don't think I'll actually get to Stalker before the Kickstarter's done. I feel bad because I had it shipped over to me and I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but sometimes that happens.
Nice, Yogi. Nice.
All
But
right.
yeah, summertime it's tough because you got family and things to do, enjoy the weather, so totally understand.
Yep.
So,
All right.
cool. Well, I think we'll wrap up this chat. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks, Bairnt and Derrick.
We'll see you in 22 minutes.
That's right. Another stream coming up soon. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you at the next stop.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.